First, let's get right to breaking news and new gun violence tonight in downtown Portland. Right now, police are investigating reports of shots fired around 7:30 near Southwest Jefferson and 11th next to a Plaid pantry. A witness telling us she heard about 7 gunshots and saw a man who appeared to be hunched over. Police have not yet confirmed if anyone was hurt or if the shooter is in custody. Updates on KGW.com as we get them. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We continue tonight with a warning over so-called imposter scams. Someone calling you pretending to be someone they are not, maybe a relative or a police officer, and demanding help, usually in the form of money. And while we hear about these all of the time, new technology, including AI, is making those lies more convincing than ever. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom. Alma, you have the story of a KGW viewer who was tricked into forking over $2,000.
That's right, David. $2,000. Looking back, she says she should have seen those red flags, but at the time, the caller on the other end preyed on her emotions, had a sense of urgency, was impersonating a police officer and threatening fines. She brought this to our attention. At the same time, the Oregon Judicial Department also flagged us, reporting a rise in jury duty scams.
The biggest mistake I made was answering a robocall.
Zoe says she's not one to answer the phone if she doesn't know who's calling.
But this number called me a couple times and I was like, okay, maybe someone's in an accident or something, or I need to address something. So I answered, and immediately this person is on the phone.
The caller posed as a law enforcement officer, giving her a name, a badge number, and reading back her personal information, like her mailing address and full name.
He gives me these 2 warrant case numbers, here's your file or your case number for missing the court date, and then here's your case number for missing or for being in contempt of court or something. It was much more official sounding than what I'm relaying.
Official, urgent, and convincing. Zoe just wanted to do the right thing.
And I don't want to have this hanging over my head.
The scammer gave her a name of a judge, a phone number to call back, and a dollar amount. $5,000 for missing a grand jury summons.
At this point, he's like, the payment process that we have is through Zelle, so you have to set that up. And again, unfortunately, I don't have familiarity with Zelle, but the only thing I know about it is that it's advertised in my banking app.
After going back and forth for a while and sending over $2,000, she finally realized it wasn't legit.
And it feels so dumb now to be like, I gave this person my bank account number.
But she's not alone. The Oregon Judicial Department issued a warning Friday of bogus phone calls, emails, or texts on jury service that may lead to fraud. Officials reminding people that state and federal courts do not require anyone to provide sensitive info through these channels. And while Oregon courts may provide jury notices or reminders by text, these will not request personal information, make threats, or demand money. And as scammers continue to use these older tactics to target people, new technology is making their cons even more convincing. The FTC put out a warning earlier this year about scammers now using artificial intelligence. They're able to copy a person's voice to demand money. So now, even if a person on the other end sounds like a loved one, it may be fake.
As attackers get more familiar with these technologies, what they can do with it, how to operate them, we are going to see an increase in scam attacks.
Nightmare. I hate it.
Experts say vigilance and skepticism are key when you're asked for money in any form. Don't trust caller ID. That can be faked. And when in doubt, hang up and call the person back using a known number.
Zoe is working to get her money back, but it is proving difficult, especially with Zelle. She wanted to share her story in hopes that others don't fall for this or other scams. David?
Absolutely. Have to keep getting the word out. Thank you, Alma.
I hope that this is, also a reality check for community, other young members to make better decisions.
A Washington County Sheriff's deputy severely injured in a life-changing crash, reacting after the young driver who sent him to the hospital received his sentence. 2 teenagers were also killed in that crash, with the then 18-year-old who was behind the wheel today apologizing to their families as he learned he will spend the next 25 years in prison. Last April, Xavier Rodriguez was driving drunk when he slammed into Deputy Mike Trotter's vehicle. This was near the corner of TV Highway and Murray in Beaverton. Trotter was badly hurt. So were 2 teen passengers in Rodriguez's car. 2 more teens in his vehicle, Matthew Amaya and Juan Aguilera, were killed. Now here is Deputy Trotter's reaction to Rodriguez's apology.
His apology is great, but in the end, his decisions led to the loss of lives and challenges in my life.
Well, the victim's family spoke before sentencing, essentially saying they forgive the driver. The judge urging him to think long and hard about why he was spared in this crash and to put that to good use. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. The Tigard man arrested in a disturbing case of child abuse has made his first court appearance. 74-year-old Charles Ward was arrested along with his wife, Ana Miranda. Investigators allege the couple chained one of the kids in their home, often for more than 12 hours a day, along with other mistreatment and abuse. Police also say Miranda had abused other children in the past. It's not clear if the kids in this case and the couple are related. An update tonight on the Mount Hood Medical Birthing Center, with Legacy Health saying it is aiming to reopen that center by mid-June. In a letter, they say they are delaying their initial target date of late May because they're working to secure hospital staff. They also want patients to know they plan to scale back services when they first reopen. The Gresham facility closed in March without getting the required state approval. And Oregon Senate President Rob Wagner is pushing back on the 3rd day of a Republican walkout, calling on GOP lawmakers to show up to debate and discuss bills rather than stalling by not showing up. Republicans say Democrats are violating a law that requires bills to be summarized in plain language, though the nonpartisan Office of Legislative Counsel says the wording on abortion and gun bills is perfectly legal. The Senate is scheduled to try again on Saturday. Well, we're about 10 days away from Oregon's special election. If you're in Multnomah County, there is one measure in particular on the ballot you might want to pay attention to. Its goal is to fund lawyers for renters who are facing eviction, though opponents say it's going to hurt homeowners. Pat Doris took a closer look tonight on the story.
In general, it seems like a fair move that both sides of an eviction would have a lawyer if they need one. The folks in Multnomah County who put this together modeled their right to counsel measure on laws from other cities that they consider successful.
When you provide free legal representation for tenants being taken to eviction court or at risk of displacement, in a surprising number of cases, you can keep that tenant housed until they can be stabilized.
You'll see the tax on the May ballot as Measure 26238. Instead of taxing everyone, this measure would only tax people who have capital gains. That's a term for the profit that you make when you sell something like property or a home or stocks or mutual funds, even digital currency. The tax would start at 0.75%, but it would be adjustable and it could go up or it could go down. On the other side, folks like the Portland Business Alliance say that tax would have a dramatic, even if unintended, impact on someone at any income level trying to sell their home.
It's our responsibility to stand up to proposals like this that may be well intended to help get tenants representation, but that impact the very thing that we know is driving our region to a place of unaffordability.
So what are the chances of this passing? I dialed up pollster John Horvick for some insights. His group asked about the measure late last year and found 40% were in favor, but 47% were opposed. Traditionally, Portland voters love new taxes. The last time voters said no to a new tax was for a Portland school bond in 2011. The very next year, voters approved the measure. But Horvick with DHM Research says the Multnomah County capital gains tax, that's running into tax frustration. Many in the county feel they're already paying too much tax for too little service. The tax may also be impacted by what is typically low turnout for May elections. Multnomah County told us today that every registered voter should have their ballot by now. It could be sitting in your mailbox if you haven't checked yet.
All right, thanks to Pat for that. For more in-depth looks into the big issues affecting our community, you can watch The Story. That's every weekday at 6, only here on KGW. Do not forget to vote. Okay, you're watching KGW News.